Hey there everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Mira Scarlett, and today I'm going to show you how to thread a serger, particularly the Brother Serger 1034D. So let's go ahead and get started. Grab your serger thread or regular spools, whatever you do plan to use. You're going to take the spools and put them on the back of the machine in these little holsters. Then you're going to take the thread from each of these cones and you're going to bring them up through this little tree, through the holes in the tree up here. So you're going to take thread and thread it through the back here, and then you're going to lock it into place on this little metal guide. And we're going to do that for each one of these. Now it's time to thread each part one by one. The reason they are numbered is because sergers have to be threaded in a particular order. So you're going to start with the upper looper, then you're going to thread the lower looper, next you're going to be threading the right needle, and finally the left needle. So what we're going to do is start with this one here, our upper looper. So we're going to take our thread. I've already got my machine's tension just set down to 0. Typically your machine will have its tension preset, so you don't have to put it down to 0 like I did. To get rid of the tension and put the threads through, you can just press these little release buttons here and it'll release those tension discs. But what we're going to do is we're going to feed this down through here, and then we're going to get ready to open up down here and bring that down. Now you're going to follow the guides. Since we're working on the upper looper, it is labeled as the green guidelines here. So we're going to start by putting it around this first hook here. So we have it around that hook. And then we're going to be going through 6, which is this one right here. And as you can see, it's got a green dot here. So you're only going to be doing it through this one, not this one, only this one. So now we have it through 5 and 6. So then we'll continue on to 7, which is this hook right here. And lastly, for number 8, we're going to thread it through this part right here. Another thing that's a good tip to just make it a little bit easier to thread your machine is to take off this presser foot. So you can just lift this up. There's a little button in the back and you just release it, and you can get that out of your way just to give you a little bit more room here. As you can see, my machine is on because the light's on, because it just helps me see a little bit better, but I think I'm gonna it's better to turn it off. There we go. That actually shows up a little bit better than before even. So now that we've got it through number 7, as I said, we're moving on to 8, which is going to be threading it through this little part right here. You may need your tweezers for this part, but all you're going to do is take your thread and put it right through there. You can see that. I'm just going to use my tweezers just to make it a little bit easier. So you just grab that thread and you feed it through. And just go off to the side this way. It'll end up being underneath the presser foot. You can just put that off to the side. And that is how you thread the upper looper. Now, this part is a little bit more tricky. Now on to the lower looper. This one is probably the trickiest one to thread, so definitely pay close attention to this one. We're going to do the same thing and just bring it down through this guide down to here. And then that takes us to our first hook for the lower looper, which is number 5. Then we're going to take it through 6 and 7. So we're going to be going underneath both of these hooks, just like this. The next indicator is number 8, which is this hook right here. And then step 9, as you can see by the photo, is going to reference this right here. This is the fairly tricky part. So we're going to pull this out, and there's a little groove right here, if you can see, that this thread is going to go behind. So we're just going to take our thread. I know it's really hard to see, but see, I'm taking this black thread right here, and it's going just right behind there. Just lay it gently. You don't need to pull it through the guide. Just have it laying right there on the guide and press that back in. And you hear that little click, you'll know that it's locked into place, not only from that click, but also the arrows line up. And now you need to thread this part through this little hole right here. So definitely utilize your tweezers for this. So I'm just gonna go ahead, get it right in here. And another thing to keep in mind when you're threading this part is that this thread, once it goes through here, needs to go this way and not get caught on this part. Otherwise, it's gonna break your thread and give you a lot of issues. So just carefully. You can kind of see the thread just laying in there currently. So let me grab my tweezers so we can pull it on through. And you might have to move your the turn wheel a little bit to help adjust where it's going to go, but make sure when you grab it, let's pull it out a little bit more, and then we're pulling it right over here. So yeah, just make sure that it does not get caught behind this piece. So now we've got our upper and lower loopers threaded. So the last part is just threading the right needle and then the left needle. This is going to be very similar to threading just a regular sewing machine. So we're going to start with the right needle right here, pull that down. Then it's just going across these guides right here, up through 5 and then down. And then going to take this thread here, you can you see it? Autofocus is like, no. Take your thread, which is right here, and you're going to place it just right behind this little metal guide, right there, and then you just simply put it through the needle, just like a regular machine. I'm doing this at a very awkward angle because of the camera, so forgive me. Aha, we got it. Always good to grab the trusty tweezers. There we go. Oh, and don't want it caught on that. There we go. And then just pull that off to the side with the other ones. All right, we're almost there. The light at the end of the tunnel. Now, all that's left is threading the left needle. And it's basically the exact same thing. Bring it back down here, over around here. We'll be putting it through that same thread guide, and then threading it just like a typical sewing machine. Struggles and all. There we go. All right, so now you have your machine all threaded and ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace my presser foot. And the way that you do this is you slide it underneath, make sure your lever is pulled up, slide it underneath here, and get it lined up with this little clamp above. And then to actually have it clamped down properly, you're going to press that same little button that released it before. And that will set this back up. Just make sure that your threads aren't caught around it and that they go smoothly underneath it like this. And then you should be all set to go. Let's give it a quick test run and make sure that we have her properly threaded and ready to go. So I'm going to turn it on. All right, I'm going to move my tension up here. I typically keep these at around a 4 or a 5. And then I usually do the upper looper a little bit higher tension and keep that around there. So we'll see how that works out. Granted, I've been working with strange stretchy material lately, so that's why my settings have been a bit different. I've been working with this like stretchy crushed velvet. So let's see if it serges properly. Fingers crossed. Perfect. All right, there we go. Look, nicely threaded. Of course, you can adjust it as needed to make sure it fits your project. As you can see, the loops are just a little bit not quite as tight as I want them to be. All right, still not bad, not ideal. It's whenever you're using your serger, you will have to adjust the settings as necessary. There are other settings on the side of the machine that you can adjust as well. And so that's definitely important for testing and figuring out what works good for what fabric you're using for your project. But yeah, that's all there is to threading your serger. I know that it can be a daunting task when you first look at it and aren't quite sure what to do, but it's really, really simple. And once you get used to it, it's gonna go really quickly. You don't even have to think about it too much. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. And if you'd like to subscribe for more helpful sewing tutorials, cosplay related videos, as well as DIY stuff, then yeah, click subscribe. And you can also click the bell notification to be notified of future videos. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!